Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from an inmate at the county jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, press 2.
Well, hello, Lori. How goes it? Well, if you keep the dialogue open inside of jail, it's going to have an effect. Maybe one person will change, maybe 18 people will change, but either way, it's going to have an effect, and that's what we want. We want people to get out of jail, get out of prison, no longer be incarcerated, and not go back. And it's a team effort. We all have to work together, especially family members and the people that's close to them. Well, yeah, I know a lot of children and parents. They're really close, and they have a really big effect on a lot of this stuff, and that is something we can't overlook. And I hope the Department of Corrections and the justice system, penal system, all that stuff will listen to that. I know I've seen some things in our state change for the better, and we need to get a really good communication system out there. In the past, just sending letters could have a profound effect on people, and now we have the option of email and instant chats, and video visits, in addition to just regular in-person visits, which, as you can see, if something pops up, a national emergency or something, those you can get cut back. We can't have people just sitting around in isolation, not being able to talk to people on the outside, because even completely normal lives could be disrupted if they're taken away from society like that. And I know we want to say that you guys commit this crime, and so this is what you deserve. Once you're locked up, it's our responsibility to see to it that you get the resources that you didn't take advantage of when you were out, or that weren't available when you were out. And we can get those resources to you so that this kind of stuff won't happen again. And in my mission here, I want people to get out of prison, leave incarceration, and never go back. I don't think it's an impossible goal. I think we can get people to get back to the life that they so desperately want, and that their family, community so desperately wants. And that's it. Yes, you got to be a good example to the children. And the children can't see you as a perfect person, that you don't make mistakes. They got to see that when a mistake is made, what do you do about it? How do you compensate for it? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you can't completely blame society. Yeah, we do tend to just ignore people that are reaching out, but that's not always the case. And this is, you know, a free world. A lot of countries, if you put forth the extra effort, you can stay within the lines,
You have 60 seconds
get to
remaining.
the point where you're doing what's legal and what's proper, and still make a good living. Well, yeah, we don't want to give everybody money from the government. That's not going to help. That's almost like it's an enabling. Well, yeah, I do think that legalizing marijuana in a lot of states did cut down on some of the crime, but
You
making
have 30 seconds remaining.
certain weapons illegal, I think that's just going to increase the crime rate. So we really have to be careful, and I hope people pay attention to that kind of stuff when they're out there. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing that. And you have yourself a wonderful day. And thanks for the call. Uh, my pleasure. Right. Stay strong. Don't let them get you down.
Thank you for using Inmate Call. Goodbye.
Hello. Welcome to AQS Inmate Call. And I am your host, Joel Wilborn. And in this episode, I'd like to talk about freedom. And that's when you're out in the world, you're hanging out with your friends, maybe having a picnic or a party with your family, maybe meeting people at a social event, going to a concert, or going to a holiday event or a special occasion, maybe the opening of a stadium or school. It's someplace where a lot of people get together. And although there is a possibility some crime could happen, maybe somebody could walk on to the event with a weapon and start killing people, or an automobile could drive through, maybe racial slurs or something could come out. There is that possibility, but that's not something we want to think about when we go to those events. We just want to think that we want to have a good time and that things are going to work out. And when people work together to create a peaceful event and peaceful circumstances and effective outcome, we can accomplish this just as long as we concentrate on that. And a big thing is having good security or law enforcement around, just somebody keeping an eye out. And when you look at the big event, you'll see that many of our events and gatherings are peaceful. We could go to a movie and maybe an opening of a movie, and there'll be hundreds of people there, and watch the movie, have some dinner, play some games or something afterwards, and then go home. And each day it becomes a memory that's further and further in the past. And that's the best that comes out of it. And then there's those that go to an event and never come back. And when you see people that are locked up, they're incarcerated, that little interaction, safe or not, is not attainable for them because that's been taken away from them. And if you look back on these events, especially those that were well coordinated and worked out just fine, hopefully you appreciate them. Hopefully you realize that, it'd be nice to do this again. Of course, you can't do it every day, and I don't think that's really a good idea to just do that every day because it becomes mundane, and it's like going to work or school or cleaning the house once a week or something. You want this to be a special event, and because they're few and far between, you do appreciate them. And then I will tell people, remember to hug your loved one, and that goes across social media, that goes across family members and community leaders, because there's been somebody out there who might have been upset about somebody. It's like, honey, I'm leaving now. I love you. Goodbye. And it's like, yeah, yeah. And then the person gets in an auto accident and dies. And so the person who was left behind feels bad. The last thing I did was just mumble and groan. I didn't say I love you. I didn't give this person a hug. And it does have an effect because the people think I could have had some sense of closure had I just went into the normal routine. Before she walks out the door, she says, I love you. I say, I love you back. And that's that. And then there's those that get that text message, I love you, or see you soon, or take care of yourself. And they cherish it. There's even some that have recordings of voice messages, or have saved text messaging, or social media post or something, because you really don't appreciate that until it won't happen again. And in this call, I'm talking to a character I created named Lori Parks, who is sitting in jail, and she's talking to the other inmates about memories they have. And maybe a performers come into town, and they're just talking about, oh yeah, I remember the last time this person came to town, and I was in high school, or I was treated to a birthday present. And so with the image that I created for this, I had AI given a selfie of Lori and her friends at a concert. And this is set to be an older picture, because now she's sitting in jail, and those friends are looking at this picture. I can't believe this happened, and there's a few people in the picture, and so you really don't know who Lori is. You can pick anyone to be Lori, because it's an AI generated photo. And that's the kind of stuff that we need to emphasize. We need to stress on people. Social interaction can have a big effect. It can lead to more positive future events, or it could lead to destruction. Maybe one of the friends in the photo got upset and wanted to break away from the group, and the others are upset too, or maybe angry. How dare you do this? And then, or it could be that somebody ran on to some hard times and was asking for help. My son is sick and needs we need some money. Can you loan me some money? I'd be appreciative if I got $5-10. And maybe the other person's like, well, you never should have gotten pregnant. His dad needs to take care of him, and it could just turn into these nasty little things. But with life, as I was saying in the phone call, when people make mistakes, it's going to happen. We can't prevent mistakes from happening. It's just what we do about them. How do we handle the mistake? That's what people are going to remember. And if you have a conflict, like let's say Lori and her three friends there, they had a dispute, and kids are looking at that and saying, oh, so this is how we handle this. They learn a lot more from us than you give them credit for. Even siblings, an 8-year-old boy can have a lifelong effect on his 5-year-old sister by her observing his actions. And of course, parents, the same thing. And we don't want to give them the impression that we're perfect. And we don't want to give them the impression that not doing anything about a mistake is okay. And we certainly don't want to just ignore the thing. And sitting down, discussing that with friends and family, and especially children, I think it helps. I know in my work environment, I'm a big proponent of communication, and there's just not a lot of it. People, I guess, assume that we don't need to know certain stuff, or they forget about it, or there's not looking into it as anybody would be interested in it, and it has an effect. So I encourage you to communicate, talk, hang out. People want to be a part of a group. Pretty much everybody wants to belong. And I'm an introvert. I like my alone time, but I can't imagine living, let's say, in a building with no access to anyone on the outside. Maybe log on to the internet and order stuff, and I can get food delivered to me by drone or a medicine, but I pretty much don't leave that building and I don't interact with anybody. Can you imagine trying to help somebody, trying to reduce crime, trying to reduce recidivism, trying to heal some episodes of depression or anxiety or stress, and locking a person up in a cell and having no interaction with the outside world? How is that going to help? And I guess a lot of times too, with people say, I just want to sit in my cell, like what they call a slug, and not interact with anybody, you could think, what brought you here in the first place? Was it the fact that you isolated yourself from other people? And maybe teach them social skills. And instead of dominating, like I'm the boss of this group, it's more like we're a team. And when one person has an issue that needs to be resolved, we can turn to each other. And I've known that traditionally women like to talk things out. Men like to jump to conclusions. I'm having problems getting my daughter to quit logging on to social media. And she just spends too much time there. And then everybody in the group's kind of coming together and it's like, well, what can we do to help you? Instead of like, hey, you can handle this. Have a nice day. And if we all do that, like a man will say, well, then what you need to do is just cut off the social media. And a woman wants to sit and talk, and then somebody wants to dominate. There's all kinds of little things that goes on, but just kind of, if you're in a group, kind of come to a little agreement that when there are issues that everybody can work on, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do it the man way and find a solution right up front and go for it? Sometimes that works. Sometimes it represents a good leader. And then, or are you going to just sit and talk about it? Maybe do some research, talk to some experts. I would suggest that you look up information. I know when I was growing up, we had encyclopedias, and you can just go into an encyclopedia and say, social media. What are some of the problems with people that tend to spend a lot of time there? How can we deal with teenagers? How can we deal with children? How can we deal with people that are isolated? And there's different solutions to the same problem. One of them might work for you. You may be one of those pioneers and create a new one. But communication can keep people out of prison. I think it is a lot more effective than taking away freedom of speech, freedom to carry a weapon, freedom to live in a country where you can speak your mind without repercussions. I think we can work all this out. I think communicating can, especially when people have problems and they know they can turn to somebody rather than crime. Think, why was a person commit crime? What led them there? Locking them up and letting them go after a few years, never knowing why they went there in the first place. people who are incarcerated, they have a lot of information that they can share. I watched a news interview where they were asking the person, "Why did you kill this woman?" And he was given the best explanation he could. It wasn't solid. It wasn't something that was definite. It's like she stole from me, or she lied to me, or she cheated on me, and so I killed her. Something that you would think, like in a strong fictional story. He more or less like, I don't really know why. And that's where we need to sit down and work with the folks, help them find out why. Well, thanks for listening in, and please get out there and communicate. Form your little groups, like committees that can help solve problems. And you'd be surprised. You may not see the result, but you do have an impact. One of the people in your group, had you not come together and communicated and worked to each other, could be sitting in jail like Lori. And maybe the other girls in that picture will end up in jail. But Lori's willing to help you. So if you go to my YouTube channel, the Joel Wilborn YouTube channel, AQ Society, and just look up some of the interviews. Listen to what some of these folks say. I even have shorts on there where people are just saying, listen to your parents, work with your children, stay away from crime. We can do this. Well, go out and have yourself a wonderful day and make beautiful memories for tomorrow.